Hey everybody, welcome back to Hawks DIY. Well, it's time for another project, and all the snow melted off, which is great. It's January 23rd, and but it's still colder than a bucket of penguin poo out here. So anyway, we're gonna go inside and we're gonna work on my G&L Legacy guitar. I'm needing to do some fret work on it as well. I hope you enjoyed the last video on the Paul Reed Smith, the fret ends. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But anyway, let's go inside. Let's get started on this project. Alright, I made it inside. Much warmer in here, that's for sure. What are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to be working on that guitar right there. That's my G&L Legacy. And it's a late 2000s model. 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. But that's the guitar we're going to be working on today. And we're going to be working on leveling these frets. We've got some high frets we're going to have to deal with and get fixed. So that's what we're going to be working on this video. And so I had to order some stuff in order to get this project completed. And so I guess we'll start on this side. I got a fret level. There's three sizes, the U file, and these files will actually work with your strings already still on the guitar. You can still follow your frets. That way you can still check for buzzing and everything. And then I got a tremolo stabilizer. And I'm going to try one of these. I'll probably install that on my PRS. It doesn't really have anything to do with this project. But, and I may end up if I like it, I'll probably put it on my G&L too. But then I got a humbucker, which is going to go in the G&L as well. That's going to be for a later project. But for this project, I got a fret gauge. I got the crowning file. This is a really cool file. But this is for crowning your frets after you've filed them. And then this is grip guards. This is for polishing your frets after you've crowned them. So anyway, that's all the tools that I had to get for this project and projects beyond. So anyway, I guess let's get this G&L Legacy, and let's get that thing up here on the cradle, and let's get started. Well, I thought I'd let you get a good look at the goods here. This is a blue burst, I believe is what they called it back then whenever I bought this guitar. But I just wanted to show you so you could have a good look at her. It's not stock. I did put this Pearloid pick guard on a few years ago, and then it's got Seymour Duncan. I think those are SSL 5s, single coil pickups. Now there is one G&L pickup still in it, which eventually I'm pulling that one out. But this is what she looks like, and she's just a beautiful guitar. That's what the headstock looks like. So what we're going to be doing in this video is we're going to be leveling these frets. And so I've already gone through the frets and determined which ones we have issues with. Now I've made columns for each string and determined which frets have issues. And I found that fret number 5 appears on every string. So I put it over here in the highest frets column. So that's definitely a fret that will need to be filed all the way. But that's how I did that. And then basically how I came to those numbers was I used Music Nomad string action gauge as a rocker. And if I found places, you place the rocker on 3 frets. If the string action gauge rocks, then that indicates the middle fret is higher than the other 2 frets. So I just went down through, the neck, and I verified all the high spots. And that's how I discovered which frets had the problems. So yeah, those are SSL5 Seymour Duncans, by the way. And I'm going to be eventually installing this Seymour Duncan SH4 JB model humbucker in the back. And then these 2 Seymour Duncans I'm moving up front here. That's the eventual, that's eventually how I want to have this guitar. So anyway, I just wanted to go over that real quick, and then we'll get started here in a minute, filing down our first few frets. Well, we're ready to get started, but first make sure that if you're doing this, make sure you do a full setup on your guitar before you go messing with your frets. And the reason for that is then you're actually dealing with accurate data. It's kind of pointless to do all of that information right there if you haven't done a setup yet. And that means setting your truss rod relief, making sure the nut height is accurate, making sure your bridge is set up, and your string height, your action is set. Make sure all that's done before you go messing with the frets. And another thing, make sure that before you start filing on a fret, that there's plenty of fret there to file on. Music Nomad makes it easy for you. They've got this fret gauge, and on the number 3, you can measure your fret height. And if you use your string action gauge as a rocker, you can check the height by slipping it under the rocker. If it's able to slip under the rocker, then you've got plenty of fret to be able to file. So Music Nomad kind of made it easy for you. I think that's a 24 thousandths gauge there, 0.024, 0.60 millimeter. But basically that's how you check that. And you want to do all of these things before you ever start. That way you know for a fact you've done a full setup, and you know that these frets right here are causing the issues. So we're going to get started, and we're going to start with fret number 5 like we discussed. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black marker, and I'm going to mark the top of the fret. That way when I file, I'll know that I'm filing it thoroughly, because once the marker goes away when I'm filing, I'll know to move on to the next area. And it'll keep me filing even on the fret. So let me go ahead and get a marker, and we'll get that fret marked up, and we'll get started on filing. Alright, I got me a magic marker here, and we're going to go ahead and mark this fret. It's the 5th fret. So we're going to go ahead and paint up this thing, and then we'll know. Okay, so I've got that done. So now we can get started. Now, it's got a pretty good rock to it, so it's pretty high compared to the other frets. So what we're going to use, we're going to be using the Music Nomad U file. And what's great about this is it has arrows on the, right here, it's got arrows. So I can keep track, when you file, you just move it left and right and stay between the arrows, and then you're not hitting your other frets. So it's only filing the fret in the middle. So what's great is you just slip that under the string, and then you can start filing. And see, it didn't take much. It already took the marker off. See, so it doesn't take much. And you can feel when it's leveled off. So that's done. Get under the D string now. Yeah, you can feel it when it levels off with the other two frets. That's pretty cool. Boy, you can really feel it bad. It's bad on that side, bad. Okay, then, so I went through all 6 strings there. Still got a pretty good rock. So, it is the highest fret, so it's going to take a little while. Just have to keep at it. But you just keep doing this and keep checking it with the rocker until you get rid of the rock. Until the rock goes away. Boy, there's a pesky spot on that. That one. It's still rocking, but it's getting better. All right, let's see where we're at now. We're getting closer. The A and the D is good. Still a little rock there. Still a little bit there. Still a little bit there. And still a little bit up on the E. So as you can see, it takes, sometimes you just gotta keep at it. Certain areas will clear up and then others won't. That does it right there. All right, that does the 5th fret, but that's how you do it. All right, folks, I got fret number 5 filed down, and then fret number 6 on the low, on the high E, B, and G. I got that filed down, so I got those marked off my list. And now we're going to move to the 7th fret on the low E. I think that's the only place the 7th fret appears, so that should be an easy one. But I'm just going to keep going down through this list until I get all of them filed down and I don't have any more rock on the rocker. And then we can take the strings off and start crowning the frets that I filed. So we'll be using this awesome looking file here. So anyway, that's where we're at, but I probably won't get to that till tomorrow, so I guess I'll see you folks in the morning. Well, it's the next day. I kind of got a late start, but anyway, here's what we got. I've got the all of the frets filed, and according to the list I had. So all the frets have been filed. I'm happy with them. The rocker no longer rocks, so we're good there. And I wanted to share one thing with you real quick. One thing that I forgot to mention is to check your fret seating. And I'm using the number 2 on the fret gauge, the Music Nomad fret gauge. And basically, if you run into an issue where well, first of all, you check your fret seating by taking your gauge and seeing if it slips under the fret. If it does slip under the fret, then that means that the fret crown has come up. Now, if the fret is, one way to tell if you got a major problem is if you tap the fret, like for example up here on the 3rd, I noticed, hear that? But if you go on the 5th fret, see how it's got that different sound? So let's do that again. See the different sound? So this 5th fret, the reason it was so high is because the fret had come up. See how that's going underneath the fret? It's barely fitting under there, but make sure your fret seating is good, because that could indicate a fret that's come up, and if the fret is loose, you may have to get it pressed and glued back in. So in my case, the fret isn't loose, so I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll be fine. I went ahead and filed it down to where it needed to be. I just wanted to share that real quick, and so you kind of got an idea on that. So we're ready to take the strings off and start with the crowning process, and that's going to be the next phase of this project. Okay, I got the strings off of the guitar, and we're ready to go with the crowning phase. Now, obviously, whenever I filed the frets, it created a flat spot on the fret. And what the crowning does is it puts the bevel back in, or the crown back in your fret, I should say. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the Music Nomad S file. But first we got to determine if we have narrow or medium frets, or if we have wide frets. And the way you do that is with the fret gauge. Boy, this fret gauge has really come in handy for this project. But you'll use the fret gauge, and you'll use the very bottom of the fret gauge, and you will set this down onto the fretboard, and basically it'll tell you if you have wide frets or medium to narrow frets. And so this is not resting on the fretboard. So that indicates by the fret gauge that I have wide frets. So we will be using the wide file on the S file, and it says it right here. See it right here? So this is the file we're going to be using. And I'm just going to go down my list, and I'm going to hit every file or every fret that I filed, and this will recrown the frets. Then after I'm done recrowning the frets, then we'll go into the next phase, which is going to be polishing. So I'll just do one here real fast, and so you can see how it's done. And then after I'm done, I'll just go ahead and do all of them, and then we'll go into the polishing. I'll show you how to do the polishing. So let's start with the 5th fret was the first one. It's right here. So we're going to use the wide again. And so you just put that dude on there, and you just start filing. And this S file has what they call a safe zone. So what happens is it will not fall off the top of the fret. So that's why this file is so good. But anyway, I wanted to mention that it's not messing with my leveling in any way. So let's go ahead and do that again. And you'll be able to hear it whenever it hits that safe zone. Okay, I can hear that I've hit the safe zone, especially in the middle. More pass. Okay, I hear it's on the safe zone all the way through the fret. So that fret is finished. It's crowned. Boy, she looks good too. Wow. But that's how you do it. And so I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to do the rest of these frets, mark them off one by one, and we'll have them all crowned. Well, now we're ready to polish these frets. I got all of the frets crowned now. And so we're on the last leg of this journey. I got the Music Nomad Tracers Fret Finishing Kit. And I used this in my last video on the fret ends on the PRS guitar. So we're going to use it again. And we're going to start with the number 1 loop. And you'll just slip this over this. If I can remember how to do this. Oh, that's right. So anyway, we'll just slip this over that. And come on now. Cooperate there, dude. There we go. Okay. So, and then I'm going to get my grip guards also we're going to be using. And you just got to find the size that fits your fret. And so I got the size that fits my fret. And I'm going to start on fret number 5 again. And I'm going to go down my list and polish each one of these frets. And it's pretty easy task. It's just, you know, it's a process. So you're going to go through, I'm starting on number 1 loop, and you'll go through all 4 of these loops. There's 2, loop number 3, and loop number 4. And so I'm going to do the same process for all 4 loops. So you'll just lay your guard over the fret that you're getting ready to polish. So we're doing the 5th fret. And it's easier to set the guard on the back side. And then you just polish that dude. And you just take your time. It's a process, you know. It just takes time to do this, but I can see that it's getting the scratches out pretty good. But if you don't have one of these guards, it'll really mess your fretboard up. So these guards are really nice to have. Okay, that one feels pretty good. Move on to fret number 6. And I'm just gonna go on down the line and go through each loop and make sure that they're all polished. But that's all there is to it, guys. It's not really that hard. It's just a real tedious deal, you know. It takes time. So there's those 2. I just wanted to show you that part. I'm going to go through here and polish the rest of these and go through each loop and polish one time with each loop, and we'll be done. So I'll come back to you when I get this all finished. All right, I got through all 4 of the micro mesh polishing loops, and the frets turned out awesome. Check this out. I used some of that Pro Line luminol fretboard conditioner, and it really cleaned up nice. That's some good stuff. So I got all the frets polished and done, and that'll conclude this project. So pretty happy with the results. The next video, I'm going to be installing this humbucker in the back, and we're going to move these two cycles up front. So be on the lookout for that video. I didn't include it in this video because it's just too much to do. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be pretty cool. And that's another reason why I haven't put strings on, because I'm going to be doing that. So that'll be it for this video. I'm glad it really turned out awesome. Really liking it. So anyway, like, subscribe, doesn't cost you anything. And hit that notification bell too, so you get updates for new videos. And I guess till next time, go do something. We'll see you.